I'm going to be talking about this Columbia AT Graphophone. But stick around to the end of the video when I play a cylinder on it, because I'm going to play this extremely rare and interesting cylinder. You're going to want to hear about this. Okay, so what about this machine? This isn't the rarest Columbia there is. They made a lot of these ones. It was a good seller. It was a really nice machine. It's sort of an upgrade from the earlier Columbia A. In fact, the AT, I have a feeling the T stands for two spring, because the original A was a little simpler and only had one spring. The Model A also had a very plain case, where this one's got a more ornate case. It still has the beautiful decal, which all the early graphophones have, and I really, really like. The mechanism is made out of cast material, and the bed plate is steel, which is nickel plated. These parts here on the trunnion were pot metal at the time, this tube and this part here. For the later ones, the very early ones had machined pieces here, which didn't have problems, but the cast ones, as I've mentioned in other Columbia videos, and is worth mentioning, those machines, the cast pot metal parts deteriorated, making some of these machines come in and take a look at it, and then we'll give it a try and I'll play this interesting cylinder. As you can see, as I said, the decal on this is really nice. It's one of those big graphophone decals. A few years later, they simplified this case and made what I consider a really drab-looking machine out of this really beautiful machine. But it had one different part on it. This was replaced with what's called a high trunnion type, which is a little taller, and the reproducer is sitting more flush with the mandrel on the top, as opposed to at an angle as it is on here. There you can see, got the crank sitting there. There's the ID plate, Columbia AT. The graphophone. The gears on this are external, so they're a little bit noisier machine than some of the ones with the gears that are internal. You can see the decorations on it are pretty nice. They're in good shape. And the woodworking is really nice. Nice lid. Before we play the cylinder, let me explain what it is. This is an unreleased cylinder from the Edison company. Now, I know it's strange to be playing an Edison cylinder on a Columbia machine, but what the heck. I thought it was a good opportunity to play this unusual cylinder. Now, if you haven't seen my videos on the Edison doll, take a look at those. The Edison doll and the other dolls, they're quite interesting. The reason I'm talking about that was because Edison introduced a talking doll with a wax cylinder in 1890, around 1890, and it was quite a failure at the time. But later, it appears he may have been working on another someone found a mold for an original doll cylinder. This is 20 years after the making of the original doll cylinder. When they molded the cylinder, they found two recordings. And these are two recordings that are an adult trying to sound like a child. And it seems evident this was for a toy of some sort. And the reason there are two on this and they're spaced apart was possibly because they would mold the cylinder and maybe cut it in half and make two cylinders out of it. So we don't really know what the story is behind this cylinder. All we know is there was this cylinder mold which had a doll recording on it, and there's no information about it from Edison, but it was from Edison. So let's listen to this cylinder and see what's on it. Okay, we're all wound up, and as on most Columbias, I took the crank off because as it unwinds, it falls off. Okay, let's hear this cylinder.
I pledge allegiance to my flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My country is a great free Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
You can only imagine how excited people must have been when they found this mold, made a cylinder out of it, and discovered it was an unreleased doll cylinder maybe, or something. But that's a pretty cool cylinder. I hope you enjoyed hearing it. Where some of the later ones, or all the, I'm gonna start again.